What's good, YouTube? DM Gaming here, guys. And I should have made this video yesterday, but like I said, I was busy with some stuff, so I'm making it now. And what I want to talk about is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's DLC3, of course. But guys, really more or less how I feel like this is a little bit more like an expansion rather than just a DLC3. Like, I feel like this is going to play... Summarizing it up, I feel like this is going to play similar to Kakarot without Goku, essentially. And what I mean by that is the same way we start up the game. So let me go to this. This is the thing that I put out the other day. At the top left corner here is the Trunk stuff. In the bottom right corner is the Kakarot stuff. Very, very similar. Only difference here is you don't have the press start button. Okay, but remember we saw this before in a trailer. And it didn't have the start button and all of this. We saw this exact same thing and it came up just like this. Only thing, it didn't have the press start button. It didn't have all of this down here. They showed this in a trailer before. Same thing the way they're showing this. And the reason I have the audio on here, you can go play it on Twitter because I don't know if I'll get a copyright strike by playing that or not, is because I don't think I will. We'll play it. The audio is the same on both of them. That song, that's the same on both of these. So when you go back and watch the History of Trunks trailer, you'll hear it. So what I'm thinking is when we get into DLC3, yeah, we'll get that little prologue. Like the same way in the main game, we got the little intro to Dragon Ball Z. I think in the DLC, we get an intro to the prologue. And then it goes to this screen where they're standing there. And then we push start and it puts us into the game. Also, with that being said, we know in the History of Trunks that there were various locations that the androids would show up at. It wasn't all West City. They didn't show up at all of West City. Sometimes it was Pepper Towns and things like that, you know. So with that being said, could there be multiple locations inside of this DLC as well? Like same way in Kakarot where we have a map and we can go to different locations. Are they going to do that inside of this DLC as well? Are there going to be more than one location? Or is it just going to be this one big West City location? I personally find that hard to believe that we'll just be sectioned to West City. Reason why is because if this is supposed to be on par with the arc, there has to be a lot going on. And I personally feel like the game would be dull and boring if we're just... I'm not saying dull and boring as in I won't have fun with it, but... you know, something like that, I feel like we should have multiple locations to go to. And they could very well do that. You see what I'm saying? But I don't know. You know, this is just my speculation. However, looking at the way that these two trailers were done, and then how the intro to the game is done, because remember, like I said, they did the Kakarot part in the trailer. They showed that in the trailer as well. But it ended up being the start menu for the game. I think this is going to be the start menu for DLC 3. And like I said, I think it's going to picture a mini version of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Because they're advertising this DLC as a world without Goku, right? A story. See right there, let's pause. Look what it says here. A story about a world. A world without Goku. So the same way we're able to really live out Goku's experience in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, guys, I really think we'll get to do the same with Gohan and Trunks. Like, I don't think it's going to just jump straight into the action, fighting the androids, and Gohan dies and all this and that. You know, I talked about fighting Dabura. I don't think we'll even fight Dabura. I think it'll literally just be the androids. Now, like I said, it'll be interesting how they do whenever it's time for Trunks to go back to Goku's timeline. I think we do that, and then we come back and defeat the androids and defeat Cell. But... no, that's a different video for another day. Like, I don't really want to get into that right now. But what I'm talking about is, what all are we going to be able to do here? Are we going to be limited to just West City? I personally don't think we will. And what I find interesting as well Here we have Goku overlooking West City. And then here we have Trunks and Gohan overlooking a destroyed West City. They're overlooking the same thing. That's very interesting. That's very telling of this DLC. And I think they're trying to hint to us that, hey guys, like, this is gonna be a big DLC. And if indeed, because they said this is the last DLC, what better way to go out than to basically give us a small expansion of the game? You see what I'm saying? Where we could actually explore, we could go to Kami's Lookout. We can go to where Goku fought Raditz. I'm wondering if the entire map is going to be open to us to explore. If it is, that's really, really cool. That's really, really cool. Is it realistic? I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's a game. They could do that. They could have the androids being at various different locations, There's training involved. How do we know we don't go and, where's Mr. Popo? Is Mr. Popo dead too? Could we train the hyperbolic time chamber? Could we, train with Supreme Kai or whatever? I mean, King Kai or whatever. I don't know, But in order for this to be on par with an arc, there has to be some element of story there. Longer than what we've seen in the history of Trunks. But like I said, this is what brought my attention. This is what captivated me. Because both of them start with the same music and both of them do the same thing, panning out, and then it shows the title, then it shows the players, Goku, Gohan, and Trunks. So I don't think this is going to be like the other DLCs where you go straight into the DLC and they tell a story and bam, you're in Beerus's location, or for the Frieza stuff, you're on this location, this same map, just without the town and stuff like that. I think, guys, that this is literally going to be an exploration. I believe the DLC will play just like the main game. With that being said, that does open the door for stuff like Toe and Mira. That does open the door for, of course, sub-quests. We know we're going to get a sub-quest. But how are they going to do things like eating? How are they going to handle things like training? Is Chi-Chi still alive? And if she is, if Chi-Chi is still alive, guys, that means that we would at least have to be able to go to Chi-Chi's house to eat. Because the reason, I know you're going to say, well, Chi-Chi wasn't in the other two DLCs, but the other two DLCs were a continuation of the main story, okay? So it made sense for us to have to travel back to Earth in order to eat meals. I don't see us being able to do that in this DLC, going back to the main game to eat. Only reason why I don't see that, guys, is because it's set in a different timeline. So it wouldn't make sense for us to go back to the main game that's the present timeline to eat. You get what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense to me. Not saying they won't do that. They may have it to where we can go back to the main game and you got this Gohan and this Trunks sitting down and eating a meal at Chi-Chi's table. That doesn't make sense to me. Because we're in a completely different timeline. You see what I'm saying? And I know people will say, well, maybe when we go back to the main game, we'll take the stats and stuff from this Trunks and that Gohan. That's a different video, guys. I'm going to do a video talking about character levels and how I think that stuff will work. But I don't want to stray off the topic of this one because this is very important, a very important discussion, very important speculation. If Chi-Chi's still alive, then we're going to have multiple locations to go to and eat, which means we would have to be able to go to Goku's house. Because where is Gohan staying? Obviously, he's staying somewhere. You see what I'm saying? He's not staying with Trunks. He doesn't live with Trunks and them. He comes to visit them even in the show. But Gohan goes back home. Chi-Chi is still alive in the history of Trunks. So let me know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. I think this opens the door to make this DLC a lot more than what we've been looking at on the surface. All this time we've been kind of looking at who we're going to fight. How's the story going to be 8-12? Guys, there's going to, and like I said before, it's going to be a survival. Because this is a post-apocalyptic world. I don't think there's going to be a plethora of animals and apple trees and all that kind of stuff around. I hope it's not. I hope they make it very difficult to find food. That way it makes it difficult to level up. And it really brings out the sense of post-apocalyptic. You see what I'm saying? I would rather hope that, that we have to train to increase our base stats. Because Trunks and Gohan did a lot of training. I mean, there were two times in the history of Trunks' story where there were significant time skips. You see what I'm saying? So something needs to be represented in that regard, you know. But in the same breath, you know, if they introduce this to the DLC, hopefully they can introduce it to the main game as well. If they do something along the lines with training, because I'm interested to see how they're gonna do that. Are they gonna do it like Whis, where you walk up to him and you do that little level up training and stuff like that? That would be cool. But hey, give us some stat boosts from that kind of stuff. Because if this is truly a post-apocalyptic world, food is gonna be hard to find. Deer aren't going to just be running around all willy-nilly. You see what I'm saying? Because the androids done destroyed stuff, you know. I mean, even look in this picture here. Look down here. Look at Goku's trailer. What do you see? Look, you see dinosaurs. You see birds. That's another dinosaur. You see some birds. You see leaves and stuff like that. You don't see any of that in here. It's cloudy. It's dark. It's rainy. It's muggy. You don't see any wildlife. Here it looks alive. Here it looks dead. And I don't think that was done on accident. This is all done on purpose, guys. They're doing this for a reason. They're trying to show us something here. They're trying to show us that, hey, you're going to get to explore this. This is going to be just like playing Kakarot. This is going to be, I think they open up the entire world to us, guys. I think the entire world will be open to us, and we'll get to play through it as Trunks and Gohan. Like I told y'all, they're going to build on this story, guys. It's not going to just jump straight to the point. There's going to be subquests involved. There's going to be, I'm pretty sure we'll have to build the time machine, training, enemies to fight. Now, what enemies? I don't know. Toa and Mira? I don't know. You know, for all we know, Toa and Mira can show up and we fight some of the movie villains. Who knows? You see what I'm saying? But this is here for a reason. And when you put them side by side, they're playing the same music. They throwing the title up just like this. They're trying to tell us something, guys. And this is what they are telling us at this DLC. And this is speculation, but this is what I feel they're telling us. Is it'll be just like playing the main game. Only thing, Goku is not there. You got Trunks and Gohan. And that's going to be pretty darn cool if that's the case. Where you can go to different locations. That opens up what they're able to put in the game too. Where you can go to different locations. Because like I said, how are we going to be able to eat? We have to go to Chi-Chi's to eat. She's the one that does the eating. You see what I'm saying? If Chi-Chi's not there, how are we going to eat? Because like I said, in the other two DLCs, you can go back to the main game and go to Chi-Chi's house to eat, and it carries over. And it makes sense. It makes sense for those DLCs. It doesn't make sense to do that, to have to go back to the main game to eat, because then you would be going back to a different timeline. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section down below, guys. Till next time, thanks for watching. Peace.